big body ripping piece of shit from out the graveyard. You never had a shot, even with a million ARs and a million A&Rs. There to represent you. This life is a battle, turn my pencil to my pistol. I turn my issues into missiles, and there will be no misuse. I promise that they won't miss you. I'm doing mental jujitsu behind presidential tent inside the Lincoln Continental. I'm still within ill intent till they kill me or put it into the serial killing, criminal murdering instrumentals. If my music doesn't fit you, then fuck you. I make shit for real people and they.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is Zach and Steven here with another all impact, no filter podcast with a week 18 recap. It's the Wildcard Weekend. It's time to get into the playoffs. Everything's set. Everything's final. We got all our matchups. We got all the matchups for this weekend. I'm excited. It's finally here after all season.
You have no idea, dude. I'm ready. This season has been weird, like really, really weird. And to be honest with you, this is the only time I've actually been excited about football this season is towards the end of the season because I want this season to end. Like I'm tired of it. So
You're not excited for the playoffs. You're just ready for it to be over.
I'm just ready for it to be over because this has been a wacky season. So yeah, but I am excited for the playoffs. I'm excited for the teams that are in there. You know, some deserve it, some don't, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, some surprises, some not so surprises. But yeah, this week on this episode, we're going to go over some of the Week 18 games, some of the big games that happened, some of the teams that fought to stay alive, some of the teams that fought for the top, like the Lions and the Vikings was a crazy game last night.
Yes,
going to look at the wild card weekend, look at the playoff bracket, and then we're going to talk about some retirements that happened this week. Some teams got eliminated from the playoffs. They aren't going to be in the playoffs, so there's going to be some people that played their last game this week. So I want to go over some of those and
potentially play.
Yeah, we don't know, but some people's been in the game for a lot of seasons, and any season could be their last, really. If
I could make it happen, man, I'd love to see everybody. Like as soon as you start playing football, you play football for the rest of your life. Like there's no retiring, but
it's all impact.
I get it though.
All impact that long.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like you got all them concussions that are happening, you know, and
just wear and tear on your body.
Yeah, but a mad shout out to the NFL though. Their safety has came a long way with the helmets and you know the padding and all that stuff.
The different tackles you are and aren't allowed to do,
and all the rules now that you can't, you know, stuff. So mad props to them, but it's still happening quite a few times. Like you know, so like that one receiver from the Dolphins, who was that DeBose or something like that, where he didn't even get hit. He caught the ball in the back of the end zone. He fell or
hit his head.
And it was just bad. So yeah, but still. It's came a long way since, you know, the olden days.
Yep. And then we're going to talk about our favorite teams. Unfortunately, two of our favorite teams didn't even make the playoffs. So we're going to talk about them and what we think they need to do to improve to get in the playoffs next year. And then we're going to sneak in a little college football at the end. Steven has a little college football he wants to sneak in. So let's jump right in. Let's do the Week 18 recap. You want to start with one of your games?
Yeah, so first off, I want to talk about the Colts and Jags game. Colts ended up winning that game. It wasn't a very good game, but the Colts still won. Won it in overtime, 26-23. And obviously, and that's one of the teams I want to talk about. You know, we all know the Colts have had a very embarrassing season with, you know, I don't want to name certain people, but with certain players, you know, and we need to figure out those soft spots in the team. And we all know what happened throughout the year with the quarterback. And you can't tap yourself out like that. You're a quarterback. You're a leader. You need to lead your team. you doing that is just showing your weakness. Like you're not a very good leader if you do that. So we need to figure out that. We need to figure out, our receiving core. Our receiving core is kind of hurting a little bit. We need to figure out offensive line as well. We're probably going to be losing Quentin Nelson here soon. So that's a big loss. He's a big part of our offensive line. Been with us for years now. But if he does end up leaving this offseason, I'd like to see him continue to play his career somewhere. He probably has a couple more years left at least. So, and another thing, we got to figure out our defensive backfield. Our backfield is trash. Like we can't stop the pass worth nothing. I mean, towards the end of the year, the defense did look good. I'll give them that. They were getting turnovers. They were getting sacks. They were stopping teams. But just because they played good for like 5 or 6 games at the end of the year, we still didn't do that great. So we need to figure out that defensive backfield. Uh, Another game I wanted to talk about was obviously the Ravens and Browns game. Ravens obviously needed to win that game, and they did, 35-10. Just
Lamar
dominate.
Jackson was on fire, dude. I
Yeah,
took some notes down on that one too.
yeah, just a domination, man. Like, so congrats to the Ravens. They made it, and maybe they can probably get to back to where they were last year. And
Yeah, they clinched their spot. Lamar Jackson went 16 for 32, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then
oh,
another 9 carries for another 63 yards.
like he's got that MVP written all over him,
Yeah.
man. I mean, those stats don't lie, dog.
Derrick Henry went off too, though. Derrick Henry had 20 carries for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And that's good for Derrick Henry. He's had a little bit of a up and down season this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Derrick Henry, 20 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. He hit Mark Andrews 4 times for 51 yards and a touchdown, and hit Rashad Bateman 5 times for 76 yards and a touchdown. He was definitely on point. They were on point. Browns literally didn't do nothing. They had 1 touchdown and a field goal.
I mean, yeah, like I said during the game, at least the one thing they were still playing for was try and get that top 5 draft pick for next year.
Yep. Let's do Bengals defeat the Steelers. This was a big game. This was a Saturday night game. They still had hopes. This was still before Broncos played, but Joe Burrow definitely had a decent game. I mean, they played enough to get it done, but it was a close game, 19-17. Joe Burrow went 37 for 46, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 fumble. I mean, he threw the ball a lot, but they did enough to get it. It wasn't an impressive win. It was like a normal Cincinnati Bengals win for this year. But it was a
Well,
close game.
I agree. I mean, it was a close game. It wasn't pretty, but it was the Steelers' play calling that got them the loss. Like, I don't know if I mean, you probably watched the game.
Mm-hmm.
I only watched like the ass end of it. But towards the end of the game, there was some play calling that just was confusing, and I believe it costed the Steelers like some yards or something. But they were in field goal range, and I guess they got bumped out of field goal range, and I don't know, but yeah, that's one thing the Steelers need to work on is their play calling there in the red zone. They seem to get down to the red zone very well, but can't seem to get the ball in the end zone.
Executing down there.
So they need to figure that out. But congrats to the Bengals though. They're there, but they're not in the playoffs,
I mean, they
unfortunately.
came back on a hell of a comeback, just a little too late.
Right. As for the Steelers, though, even though they lost, the Steelers are still in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think, I mean, they were trying. you know, obviously don't want to lose, but I mean, it was definitely a close game. Yeah, his only touchdown was just Jamar Chase. 10 receptions, 96 yards. They've just dealt with a lot this year, but that's one team I want to talk about a little bit later too on where their struggles were. But
Mhm.
Bengals and Steelers. So let's jump into the Jets and the Dolphins because that was another game that mattered at the moment. Bengals really needed the Jets to beat the Dolphins, and they did. Dolphins couldn't get nothing going. What'd you think about the Dolphins and the Jets game?
Sloppy.
Sloppy, yeah.
Yeah. Sloppy for the Dolphins, but I mean, well executed for the Jets. But, the Dolphins have also had some problems this year, and they need to get rid of Jalen Ramsey. Like
Well,
Jalen Ramsey is nothing but a nuisance for that team and a bad luck charm. Ever since Jalen Ramsey's been put on the Dolphins have done absolutely nothing.
talking about the Dolphins too, Tyreek Hill, did you see what he said after the game?
Uh-oh.
He said it's time for him to go. He can't be he's the competitor in him and he can't be held back he's out there to be competitive, not just to be out there. Like he's not getting no playing time. He doesn't get no playing time. Like he gets playing time, but he doesn't get the ball. You know what I mean?
Does
Like
this mean maybe free agency
he
or
says he's out.
trade? Oh, he's leaving. He's done.
He says he's out. Here,
Okay.
let's see if we can pull up this tweet real quick. That way we make sure we get this right. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill indicates he's done playing in Miami. I'm out.
That's huge.
This is
Now,
my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs. I just got to do what's best for me and my family. If that's here or wherever the case may be, I'm finna open that door for myself. I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro.
and that's Tyreek Hill saying that.
Word for word. Yeah. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for my career. I'm too much of a competitor to just be out there. Yeah, that's what I was.
And I understand. Like he is a competitor. Like he's when he was with the Chiefs.
KC.
Sorry, yeah, when he was
Yeah.
with the Chiefs, they were a competitor. They were top dogs almost every year. They were in the playoffs. They put up points. He had a quarterback that he could trust and get the ball to him. So and now he's in Miami. Yeah, Tua can get the ball to him, but that is when how many throws is it going to take Tua to get the ball to him? You know what I'm saying? Because Tua isn't really that accurate. He's a mobile quarterback. He's not a passing quarterback.
He's had his issues as well with injuries, and then you're playing with a backup quarterback, and then you're less
Exactly.
likely to.
Yeah. You can't play with one quarterback through half the season and then play with a different quarterback the other half of the season for like 2 years straight. Like that's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, for sure. But none of it mattered because the next game, the Broncos versus the Chiefs,
What a blowout!
they weren't trying.
I mean, obviously the Chiefs sat their starters, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. So, but still, 38-0. Shoo.
yeah. I didn't even take no stats on the Broncos, but Bo Nix went off. I mean, 26 for 29, only missed 3 passes, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then rushed on another 47 rushing yards on another 7 attempts. So he definitely popped off, spread the love. He passed the
And
ball.
uh, they're both in the playoffs, and but the Chiefs, they are division champs, and they got the first round bye, obviously. So congrats to them. They get that little push for that. Um, let's talk about real quick. I want to talk about McCaffrey. Um, he's I feel for him. He got hurt back in, I think it was the off season during camp or something with his Achilles,
Mm-hmm.
and they sat him for, at first it was just supposed to be for 4 games, and then after that 4 games, I guess the Achilles and the knee and stuff was still having problems. So they decided to send him out for a couple more weeks to see how it was going. Sat out a couple more weeks, comes back, and then he played maybe not even a whole game or a game and a half, and right back out. He went with Achilles, or I think it was the Achilles, the ankle, the knee,
Yeah,
whatever
something with
wrong
his
with that.
leg. Yeah.
That leg was just damaged. So, but and then out for the rest of the season with that injury. I feel for the guy, man. Like that's gotta suck. Like,
Coming off such a great year that he had.
do you think he'll be able to bounce back from that, or do you think this could be the end for McCaffrey? Because he's getting up there in age too.
Nah, I think he'll be back next year. As long as the injuries don't keep hurting him, he'll be back. I don't like he'll be himself. He's too dominant not to come back and at least be somewhat dominant.
He needs to be he needs to be put on a balanced offense. Like the Niners are just running him hardcore.
Yeah, he needs to be on a team that don't rely on him like Carolina has, and then turn around
Yeah,
San Francisco has. Like he needs to
yeah.
be an option, not the option. A
Like
option, not the option.
kind of like Derrick Henry. Like he was the go-to guy there in Tennessee for the longest time. But then he got put on the Ravens, and look at him now. They're balanced out. Like you
Yeah,
don't really see Derrick Henry going off as much, but he still gets the yardage. And then you
it
got
just
Lamar
makes it more
Jackson.
dynamic for both of them. Yeah,
Exactly. So McCaffrey needs to think about that too. He probably likes being with the Niners, but he definitely needs to figure out, you know, where he can go where he can be balanced out with everybody else and
yeah.
not get pushed so hard. And then last but not least, we got the Vikings and Lions game. Um, the Lions, man, Dan Campbell and them Lions. He's got them rolling, man. He's got them rolling. The Lions are back-to-back division champs. They got the first round bye in the playoffs this year. Congratulations to them. Can they win it though? That's the question. With who they're facing up against in the playoffs, who or can they get this done?
Yeah. Well, a bye week definitely helps big time. The run game really wasn't involved at all. It was like
More
Cam,
passing, definitely
yeah,
more passing.
Cam Akers. Well, for the Vikings at least, Cam Akers and Jones combined for 16 rushes for 110 yards between the both of them. Gibbs had 23 carries, 139 yards, 3 touchdowns, another 5 receptions for another 31 yards and another touchdown. He popped off. He did more himself than the entire backfield of Vikings did together. Jefferson couldn't get going for nothing, kept having drops, only had 3 completions for 51 yards. Yeah, the Vikings pretty much just put up field goals. That's all they could get down the field to do, while Jared Goff was just popping off. He did throw 2 interceptions, but I mean, the run game was big. St. Brown had 6 for 77 yards. Laporta had 7 for 63. I mean, it just looked like a normal Lions offense.
If the Lions can stay healthy, which they got a bye week, so they have no problem staying healthy there. But they have some big teams here in the NFC that they got to go up against. If these teams make it, they can always play against the Vikings again. Um, they got the Eagles to look out for. I mean, and even the Packers, man. Like the Packers, I'm not a big Packers fan, but they've been killing it this year. So
Yeah, that whole
that's one.
division's nasty.
Yeah, that's one team to be watching out for.
The last game I want to look at is the Bucks versus the Saints, because that was the last team to get in. Spencer and Saints Rattler, they looked good at first. I mean, the Bucks just couldn't get nothing going. The Saints, every time they started getting some points up, the Saints would just turn around and put them right back up. It's like the Bucks just could not get no momentum going, and then late in the ball game, they finally take the lead, and it's just like from that point on, they just started putting up more points. 27-19. Baker went 21 for 32, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, and then rushed for another 9 rushes for 68 yards. My boy Bucky Irving, went 19 for 89 and another touchdown. Jalen McMillan went 5 for 74 with another touchdown. Payne Durham went 2 for 16 with a touchdown. And I want to talk about Mike freaking Evans, Big Mike, dude. They had the game won. The game was over. Kicked the ball off, or they got the touchdown, right? Because it went to Bucky. They wanted to get it to Mike. He wanted to get it to Mike. Just one more play to Mike. Mike wasn't open. He chucked it down to Bucky. Bucky got in the end zone, won him the game, right? Thought, man, it's probably over. They're going to try to run down the field. Clock's going to be burned out. Lo and behold, they stop them, 3 and out, punt the ball back. They get enough time for one more play. And what does Baker Mayfield do? He throws his dude that pass. He needed 5. He got 8. Gave Mike Evans 1,000 yards this season and gave him his 11th consecutive season with 1,000 yards, dude. It was awesome. The audience was just chanting, Mike, Mike. Everyone wanted. They knew they were going to throw Mike the ball. I mean, how do you not know? They're not like.
Yeah, because they don't have Godwin.
Yeah,
Godwin's out with a broken
it
foot.
had nothing to do with that. Like the whole crowd's chanting Mike. Everyone knows
yeah,
that he
that too.
needs 5 yards. He needed 5 yards. So it's like, oh, they're running one more play. I wonder what they're doing. They're trying to get Mike the ball. So I don't know if he got it because he's him, or if
Oh
everyone
yeah, he's
just
him.
kind of,
He's him. Mike Evans has had a pretty good hall. I'm going to say go ahead and say a Hall of Fame career. Like
oh, definitely.
he's
Yeah.
killing it, man. Like, and he is getting up there as well. He's one of those guys that are getting a little bit older. Need to watch out for him because he's probably not. He's probably close to his end of his contract with the Buccaneers. So, but he could
Still
also
dangerous.
he could always return. And I'm pretty sure the Bucks have enough cap to keep him. But Mike Evans is one of those players though that he's not really asking for a lot of money. He just wants to be a part of the franchise because he loves the franchise so much,
He loves to
and
play ball.
he loves to play ball, and he's
Yep.
willing to take those pay cuts to for other players that are coming in and stuff like that. But then again,
Okay.
he still is a big money making guy, so you better have
Yep.
the money to pay him.
He needed 85 yards going into the game. He went 9 receptions for 89 yards. Had a hell of a game. And that secured them into the playoffs. That put the Bucks in the playoffs. And that's what we're going to get to next. You want to look at the wild card weekend and
Yeah, I could. Let's see. I'll run through the AFC here. AFC wildcard games we got going on this coming up football schedule. We got the Steelers versus the Ravens. Ravens can do it. I have the Ravens winning that all the way. But if the Steelers can figure out that play calling, man, the Ravens better watch out because I think Steelers could do it potentially. Um, I got Broncos versus Bills here.
yep,
I'm going with the Bills, man. A big
at
part of
home.
me, a big part of me wants to see Bo Nix come in rookie season. Have playoffs already. Like he's already having great accolades this year. But can Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos stop Josh Allen? Man, Josh Allen is a dog, dude.
Yep.
He is a mean dude. Like he'll run the ball, he'll pass the ball, he'll truck your ass. Like he will put you on your butt. So,
And if
but
they've
I got
got
the Bills. I
if
got
they
the
got
Bills winning
if
that
they
one.
got the weather that we've got the past week or
Oh, I guarantee
couple of
it.
days, it's about to be a Buffalo ball game. It's
Yeah. Oh
definitely
yeah.
going to be a snow-filled Buffalo
They
ball game.
love playing in
And
them snow games.
but Denver's used to cold weather too, so it's not going to be like it's going to affect them too much. But it's I definitely see it being that type of ball game. It's not going to be an easy
I,
one.
yeah, you are right. I didn't even think about that. Denver and Buffalo are both cold climate, during the
Mm-hmm.
winter. So yeah, that would be an interesting game to see. And then last I got for the AFC, I got Chargers versus Texans. As much as I would love to say the Texans, man, I went Chargers. I like the Texans. I don't. They're not my favorite team. You know, I'm a Colts
They
fan
haven't been
through and
great this
through.
year.
But the Texans, I don't know how they made it, dude. Like their O line sucks so bad. We just looked up the stat for how many sacks they've given up this year, like for CJ
48.
Stroud.
I think it's up to 48.
It was either 48 or 52, something like that.
Or for CJ Stroud. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It was 52, but that was before the last week. I don't know if he got sacked at all this game.
Yeah, so yeah, he could have went up, but still 50 something times being sacked, dude. 50 plus times. You tighten it up, offensive line.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud cannot be taking those many hits. That's your franchise quarterback. You need to do something. We don't want to have another Andrew Luck happen in Houston. All right, like Indianapolis had to fucking go through that shit. Pardon my language, but Zach, we'll talk about the NFC games.
Yeah, well, I got the Lions obviously got the bye, the number 1 seat.
Yep.
We got Green Bay at Philly, number 7 versus number 2. I see my
Yep.
team Philly getting that done. Let them be dominant.
For sure, for sure.
Um, then we got Washington at the Bucks. I definitely think the Bucks can get that done. I mean, we just
Oh,
showed.
okay. We
I
gotta talk
can
about
see
we
it.
gotta talk about this
Jaden
one,
Daniels
man.
has been good, but it's just
Eh,
Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, man. I'm not going to count them out. And then we got the Vikings at the Rams, and I honestly feel like this will be a pretty good game.
I got a question mark on that one because I don't know.
Yeah, number 4 versus number 5.
Because the Rams are they're hit and miss, man. Like if Stafford's feeling good that day, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna ball out. But he
Yeah,
better have Nakua and Cooper there to help him out.
they definitely better be locked in. All right, so that's the NFC and the AFC uh, playoff picture. It's what we're looking like this week. Any of these
And
games interest you?
let us hear your comments, your thoughts on the playoffs. We would like to hear more feedback from you guys, your predictions. So put them down there in the comments, and we'll make sure to get to them and read them.
Yeah, I know definitely for me, my biggest ones I'm looking forward to is Philly and Green Bay. Philly and Green Bay, I feel like that's a good game. Number 2 versus number 7. Give my team Philly a chance. It's an easier matchup. No games are easy, but seeding make it a little bit easier. But not really, because Green Bay's been nasty this year too. That whole division's been really good. So I'm excited about that matchup.
You know, going back to the Commanders and Bucks game, I think me and you are pretty even on everything else except for that game. I got Commanders, man. That's going to be the game I'm going to watch. I think I love rookie quarterbacks, man. I love rookies coming in and just balling. They going into the playoffs, going up against all these veteran players, and just I love an underdog story, man. So Commanders all the way. The Bucks can do it. They are a tough team. They're a really high franchise team. So I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens.
Jaden can do it.
I
Jaden's
say
having a hell of a year.
27-24, 27-24 Commanders. So
Cool. Yeah, that's the playoff picture. I'm excited. What game? What day is the games on this week? Let's look at that.
yeah, I forgot to look that up.
Week 1 playoffs. So we got Saturday, 4:30. Got Texans and the Chargers. And then Saturday at 8 o'clock, we got the Ravens and the Steelers. Sunday at 1 p.m., we got Broncos and Bills. Sunday at 4:30, we got Green Bay and Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. And then Sunday at 8 o'clock, we got Commanders and Bucks. And then Monday at 8 o'clock, we got the Vikings and the Rams. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday games again this week.
Um, there's one. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. Potential retirements this year. there's one guy that has had a amazing career throughout, the time he's been in the NFL. Calais Campbell, defensive line for the Miami Dolphins. He was drafted 50th overall pick in 2008, 6 Pro Bowl selections, 3 All-Pro selections. He was the Walter Payton Man of the Year in 2019. And then in 2022, he won the Art Rooney Award. Just an amazing all-team player. I've never met him, so I bet he's a great guy off the field too. Like he's
Yeah.
probably a freaking menace on the field. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a crazy defensive lineman, but off the field, he's probably a really great guy. I wish him the best. We don't know if he is going to retire, but it's looking like that he is. So yeah, that's a heartbreak. The NFL is definitely losing a legend there,
Yeah.
and definitely see him in the Hall of Fame here in the next few years. So congratulations to him on a Hall of Fame career. And then there's one that I've been really wanting to talk about.
Let's hear it.
We watch his podcast every Wednesday, New Heights, with the Kelseys. Travis Kelce, he's a hell of a tight end. He came from Cincinnati. He's an Ohio boy. I don't know, man.
You think he's done?
He is 30. He's like 35, I believe. But he's after the NFL. If he retires, he's got this acting career that he can go for. And then he's got his podcast on the side over here with Jason Kelce. I believe he's got it done already. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings, potentially going for 4. Do I want to see him retire? Yeah. He's been a menace for a lot of years there in Kansas City. But whatever he decides, I hope he stays and plays for a couple more years, whether it be for the Chiefs or whether it be for somebody else.
I don't see him going nowhere else.
Me neither. He's been a Chief guy his whole entire career.
Yeah.
So, and then Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I was going to bring that up too. I don't know. Is it his last year playing, or is it his last year playing with the Jets?
Well, Aaron Rodgers. That's a hard one.
Because he don't look bad some games, and then some games he looks bad.
He's like he's like Peyton Manning. Like, how Peyton was there and he was here in Indianapolis for what was it, like 14 seasons? 12 to 14 seasons.
A long time.
I'm not trying to false information here, but and then he leaves, thinks about retiring, and then signs with the Broncos, and then he does great over there with the Broncos, wins a Super Bowl over there.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. Aaron Rodgers played with Green Bay, got a Super Bowl there, left, went to the Jets.
Gets hurt for a season.
First game of the season of his first year as a Jet.
4 plays in.
Tears his Achilles. So this year was really his first year playing for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a good career? In my eyes, so. Oh, not career, game or season. Sorry,
Yeah,
season. Career, hell yeah, he's had a hell of a career.
Yeah.
Season, so. So I say, yeah, it's time to hang him up, man. Go do your thing.
And what's that do about Devontae Adams? You know what I mean? Like
because he just signed this year to the Jets. So
that's turn around and leave.
Well, I forgot about that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, Aaron Rodgers could stay because of Devontae.
Well, that's what they were talking to. If he leaves, if Aaron Rodgers just goes to a different team, though, it's going to be like a 2-package deal. Is what
Devontae goes with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Because if Aaron Rodgers leaves, I don't see Devontae retiring either.
No.
Because Devontae's still got a few years left in him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one definitely be interesting looking at and seeing what happens there, along with the Kelsey situation. And then yeah, and again, Calais Campbell, shout out to you. You are definitely a Hall of Famer in most people's eyes. So keep doing what you're doing, and good luck in your retirement. That is if you do retire.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of good players. Lots of good players. Everyone's seasons and careers got to come to an end eventually.
Yeah.
All right. So retirements. Let's look at some couple rookies that we thought stood out this year. I
Some
know
breakout rookies.
we had a couple that differed. We had a couple that were the same. They stand out for different reasons. That could be a good way or a bad way, or maybe just you had expectations that you didn't amount to that people had on you. So I'll start with one of mine. Bo Nix. We were just talking about the Broncos and what they did. He went off 367 completions on the year.
He had a good career.
On the season, 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns with 12 interceptions. But then he rushed for another 92 rushes for 430 yards for another 4 touchdowns, and even had 1 reception for 2 yards with a receiving touchdown. So,
Ooh, Bo
yeah,
out there balling, man.
he's definitely one to give props to. Rookie quarterback with passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown on the year. Definitely had a hell of a year
That's what I'm
this year.
saying, man. Man, it's those rookie quarterbacks, dude. You
Yep.
got Bo Nix, you got Jaden Daniels. They're both in the playoffs. Both quarterbacks you want to be watching for. But I don't think Bo Nix has the team like Jaden Daniels does.
No. And
So,
the only way they could meet would be in the Super Bowl anyway.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying, team wise, Jaden Daniels is more surrounded better over there in Washington than Bo is over in Denver.
Yeah.
Um, so you went Bo Nix.
Yep. Who you got?
Man, I'm excited about this one. Brock Bowers. Man, he killed it. I'm thinking rookie of the year right here.
Carrying his
Because
team for sure.
he not only did he have 87 receptions, 933 reception yards, and 4 touchdowns. Doesn't sound impressive, okay? Doesn't sound good, but that is actually really good for a rookie. He set a new record by a rookie tight end, like or reception yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's outstanding. Like he came into the league, everybody thought, that he was going to kill it, and sure enough, he killed it. If he would have had a better team around him, just imagine what those stats would look like.
Yeah, that's the big thing right there.
Because he's just like Tyreek Hill. He went through like 2 or 3 quarterbacks this year over there in the Raiders. Because you had again Gardner Minshew going out with the shoulder, and then you had O'Connell go out there for a little bit, and then they brought in I believe Desmond Ritter. And then I guess either Ritter went out with an injury, or O'Connell came back and O'Connell took his spot back.
Yeah.
So Bowers went through a lot of quarterbacks this year. But still going through 3 quarterbacks and still setting that record for a tight end, that's pretty impressive, man.
Oh yeah.
Cheers to you, Brock Bowers. That's pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna go with my boy Bucky Irving, a Tampa Bay's running back. He had 207 rush attempts for 1,122 yards and 8 touchdowns, and then another 47 receptions for another 392 yards. And that isn't all he could have done. You know what I mean? Because there for the beginning of the season, White was still their lead running back. It wasn't until about halfway through the season that he really took over as their lead back. And from that point on, that's what he put together. So I'm excited to see what he'll do next year with a full year. I mean, they're still split back, but he gets a lot more touches now, if not more than White. At least when I was playing him in fantasy this season, he wasn't, I didn't have him at all at the beginning of the year, but then he became somebody. Definitely was one that people started picking up. I grabbed him,
Mm.
and he was worth it, dude. He's putting up some points in fantasy for sure.
Yeah, that backfield for the Bucks really needed him to step up this year, and he did.
Yeah, and he just secured their final touchdown to send them to the playoffs this past weekend.
Again, those rookies, man. I
Yep.
love an underdog story. I have one here that really it's not a boom season. I'd call it more of a bust. Marvin Harrison Jr. Uh, with the Cardinals, 45 receptions, 655 receiving yards, and only 7 touchdowns. Not very impressive first year stats. It's a start. It's a start, but with the Cardinals having their problems this year, and Marvin Harrison Jr. just couldn't get started.
Yeah.
So, but I see him coming back next year stronger and better. And I also believe the Cardinals will include him into some more roles than what they did this year. Um, and I just hope that we see more of him catching the ball other than dropping the ball.
Yeah.
So they need to work on the catching drills. Uh, and that's probably another one reason why they didn't go his way as much because it's probably just the first year jitters.
Yeah.
It's your first year. You're a
Got
rookie.
to get acclimated.
You're trying to get settled into that role. So let's just hope his veterans on the Cardinals team, can still, improve him better and get him more acclimated into the NFL role.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna go with Malik Neighbors, another team that didn't make it into the playoffs, but one of the dudes that I kind of feel like carried their team a little bit. 109 receptions, 1,204 yards, with 7 touchdowns. The team as a whole, I feel like she needs to be a lot better. But for a
Well,
rookie, not having a steady, stable quarterback, you got to
that's
give that
one
dude
team.
props.
That's one team that can get wins and get the job done, but can't get to the big games. You know what I'm saying? They can't get to
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs. So to me, it's not really the players' fault. I think it's more the main office fault. In a way, yes, it's also the players, but if the players can get the job done on the field, why can't the job get done in the main office? Like you guys are picking great talent people, great quarterbacks, great receivers, great defensive linemen, great everything. But for some reason, y'all just can't produce. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Getting everything to come together.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
the Giants have always been one of a favorite just because of the Mannings,
Yeah. Eli.
But and Eli is the only Manning that has ever beat Tom Brady twice in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. Who you got?
Winning it all?
No, next rookie. You got another rookie?
Oh, another rookie? No, not really. I'm all rookied out.
Let's throw out Lad McConkey, Chargers wide receiver.
Ooh, yeah,
He had a really good year.
he
82
did.
receptions,
He did.
1,149 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
He was also riddled with the knee and the shoulder injuries.
Yeah,
So
he had big shoes to fill with Keenan Allen leaving the Chargers and opened
yeah,
up a slot there, going
yeah.
to the Bears.
And there's another one, another good player that's getting up there in age that could possibly be
Keenan
out
Allen.
out the door. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jaden Daniels. We talk about Jaden Daniels yet?
We
A
have, but
little
not his
bit.
stats. So yeah, let's go
Uh,
ahead and do that.
rookie QB, another one, took his team to the playoffs. 69% completion average, 3,568 yards, 25 touchdowns with only 9 interceptions. And then also rushing has another 148 attempts for 891 yards with another 6 touchdowns. He's definitely a rookie quarterback. You can tell. I feel like
Man,
most.
yeah, your stats on your site was way more than mine.
Oh, I wonder if yours didn't include this past week's
Probably not.
week 18. Yeah,
Yeah, probably not.
but yeah, he's went crazy.
But still, yeah, hell of a season for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
I'm really happy that he came in and, you know, proved his worth there, proved that, the Commanders didn't mess up picking him up that early in the draft.
yeah, sure.
So good luck to him in the playoffs. And he's one of my guys that I'm looking forward to seeing, going all the way. But it's hard for a rookie to do that. So could he be the one to do it?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, some great rookies this year. Here pretty soon, I'm sure we'll be going over some of the rookies that are coming into the season this next season, 2025.
There is
Uh,
one. There is one that I want to talk about. Uh, Coming in, I'm interested to see his combine, see how it goes there. Travis Hunter. He's coming in from Colorado. Uh, he was coached by Deion Sanders. He's
mhm.
one. He's part of that crew. And then Deion Sanders. He's doing great things over there in Colorado. Got that team turned around. He's got his boys playing with him. Shadur, that's his son. He's quarterback there, and I'm pretty sure his other boy is either a defense or offense. I can't remember, but he's there. But Travis Hunter, he's a great defensive back. Very fast, very agile. He's all over the field. No matter where the ball's at, he's always there. So interested to see where he goes. I could probably say he'll probably end up in Cleveland, but that's just my prediction. Either Cleveland or the Raiders. I'd rather see him go to Cleveland other than the Raiders,
Yeah,
but
Raiders need some help too. They both need
but
some
they do
help
need
out of
help.
this year. Yeah,
They do need some help.
yeah,
But yeah, he's very interesting. He just won the um what is that, the Heisman Trophy this year. So he's a very high prospect going into the draft.
yeah. Lots of good rookies. Let's go over our favorite teams and why they are not in the playoffs. Two of my favorite teams are the Bengals and the Philly. Philly obviously made it in, but the Bengals didn't. Um, I'll go first, I guess. We got
Yeah, go ahead.
the Bengals had a good year, but a bad year. They started the year 4-8. Not a very pretty start to the year. When you start out 4-8, it's hard to come back from that. They had a lot of defense issues. They were ranked 25th and or 26th and what did I even write down?
I get that problem too. You can't figure out your own handwriting. It happens a
Yeah.
lot.
But yeah, they were ranked horribly, which led them off to a 4-8 start. Uh, they had offensive line issues. We
Mhm.
talked about sacks, allowed 48 sacks on Joe Burrow.
And you
Uh,
got to make your field goals, guys.
yeah, hitting them field goals, just not putting up the big thing, and this is my thing, is not able to win close games. Uh, they had a lot of narrow losses. 7 out of 8 of their games were a
Man.
one-score game. 7 of their 8 of their losses were a one-score game. Like, you know how close that is? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just you're that close every time. That means you're there. You know what I mean? And they're most of the time they're high scoring games. But yeah, they just can't close. They just need to be able to close. They need to work on their offensive line. They need to work on their defensive stoppages, like stop the other teams from putting up so many points against you. So then you can stop working your offense so hard to keep up with them putting up points.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely an unbalanced team there.
Yeah, and then just a lot of injuries. T. Higgins was out for a while. Sheldon Rankins had on the IR. Orlando Brown Jr., Daxton Hill. They've been riddled with injuries this year, and
Hmm.
that never helps when you're losing your starters.
No, yeah. See, there was a lot of teams this year that was bad off on injuries. I don't know what it was about this year, but a lot of people either they just got their big contracts and they just wanted to sit through it this whole season,
Yeah, it
or
happens.
just they've actually a lot of people got hurt this year. So, well, you talk about the Bengals
Let's hear about them
and their
Colts.
problems, but I think over here in Indianapolis we got a little bit bigger problems over here.
Yeah,
As we all know, we got the quarterback situation with Anthony Richardson. Great arm, really great arm, very accurate. He can put a tight spiral on that ball, but being able to get enough time for him to get set and actually, get that ball out the way he needs it to, we need some offensive help on that line. Like I said earlier, we got Quentin Nelson that's coming to a close. We don't know if he's going to stay in Indianapolis or if he's going to go, and that's a big blow to us. Along with Will Fries, he's not really the best. Will Fries has always been the false starter or the holding guy. Um, Jonathan Taylor, I don't really know. He's a hit and miss every year. Like he can have an outstanding season, or he can have just a lazy, lethargic, season.
he's had some injuries too.
And he has had some injuries. I'll give him that. So, but still, we got to figure that out. And he's also been one of those guys here past couple of years have been wanting out, but somehow we've kept him to stay. So we need to figure that out. Defense, our safeties, we got some problems back here in the safety area, injuries as well as our corners. Kenny Moore, great great player, on the field, and I bet off the field as well. Um, he was nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award this year. I'm not 100% sure if he got it, so I don't quote me on that, but I know he was nominated.
Yeah,
But playing wise, he's getting up there in age, and he's slow. He can't get to the ball fast enough. Like his cuts are slow and sloppy. Seems like receivers are just blowing right past him. So Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard need to assess that situation as well and figure out what's best for Kenny Moore, whether it be time for him to go or get him in the gym and get some overtime in there and figure out
get back in it.
everything else. Um, and as for the main office, as we all saw, Jim Irsay put out that letter to the fans saying that he's also disappointed in the team's production this year, um, and he wants to try and improve that during the offseason and try and get the Colts to back in the playoffs. Uh, but again, we've seen letters come out like this for the past couple of years now, and nothing's really changed.
Yeah,
I can't say nothing's changed. There has been some stuff that's been improved,
but then more troubles come up.
but then more troubles come up,
Yeah,
and so Chris Ballard needs to, you know, get more involved in that. Figure out what's going on, figure out the soft spots, either get him out or work him hard through the off season and get them ready for the regular season. Like do
I feel like
something.
they need a leader out there on that offense. Like they
And
need
yeah, we don't
someone that's
have
going
one.
a leader. Like
Yeah,
Peyton Manning was a leader for that
yeah,
that offense.
and and that's why we had Joe Flacco. We had Joe Flacco there to try and uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Mentor
Mentor, yeah.
uh, Anthony Richardson. But they threw Anthony Richardson right out there on the field without having any mentorship, without being able to sit and watch Joe Flacco play a whole season, watch a veteran who's got a Super Bowl ring, who
Instead,
know
they've risked him getting hurt
exactly.
several times.
He comes out, he gets his freaking shoulder blown apart. He misses his entire pretty much the entire first of his season, rookie season. And then this year he comes in, he taps himself out because he's tired and sore. Like, don't get me started. Anthony Richardson, you need to get your act together, dude.
Yeah,
That's one thing for sure.
I can totally agree. They were there
But
too. They just had to win a
um,
couple easy games and they could have been in. Just
yeah, yeah,
games they shouldn't be having close games with the Jags. The way the Jags have looked this
no,
year, you shouldn't be having
yeah,
close games with them. You shouldn't get beat by the Giants. Like we're losing games we should
destroyed
win.
by the Giants.
Yeah,
No, yeah, the Giants' offense went off on our
yeah, they
defense.
did.
Like, it was bad. Excuse me. Um, Real quick, I know they haven't been getting much praise this season. They've been getting pretty much dumped on me all season. But the Panthers, man, they put a whooping on the Falcons in overtime, 44-38. They the Panthers have never really been a top tier team ever since Cam Newton left.
And
When
they
Cam
lost
Newton
Cash McCaffrey.
and McCaffrey, yeah. When when Cam Newton left, that was pretty much the end of the world for the Panthers. Like, yeah, you guys still had McCaffrey, but was you guys like winning games? Was you guys getting to the playoffs?
He was just getting
No.
overworked.
You're just getting overworked. Exactly. Here, I don't know what happened, but midway through the season, the Panthers started balling, dude. Bryce Young came back.
I think Andy Dalton scared Bryce Young into playing right.
I'm something like there towards the beginning of the season, Bryce Young was throwing picks, fumbling the ball, doing stupid things. He comes back and he just starts going off, man. Like, dude's a baller. He's from Alabama, so I can understand him having that heart because of being coached by Nick Saban. But
Yeah, dude.
still,
His stats right here from this last game against the Falcons. He went 25 for 34, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, and then won another 5 rushes for 24 yards for another 2 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns in that game, dude.
he's
Like
balling,
he
dude.
turned it on. Like he just when they have it turned on and they play like this, they play well, but they're just not consistent. That's another problem.
And they have I hate saying his last name, Leggett or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you're talking
At
about.
receiver. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. At receiver, and he's a great receiver. He's a really
Mm-hmm.
big physical receiver. And if Bryce Young can get him the ball, 9 times out of 10, I bet Leggett can probably score a touchdown. But
Definitely.
another thing about that is Bryce Young needs the protection to be able to have time to get back here, set,
Can't be
and throw the
taking
ball.
sacks. Yeah, definitely quite a few teams that need some improvement this year.
Yeah, a lot of teams that need improvement, and I'm really looking forward to this offseason to see what everybody does.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of room for improvement. Um, let's go ahead and take a break real quick, and then we'll come right back and we'll let Steven go off about some college football. Giving a little college football segment in there. It's football, it's all impact, still rough. Let's be right back. All right, we're back, guys. We're gonna give Steven a little special college football segment. What do you got, college football?
All right, first off, January 9th, 7:30, we got Penn State versus Notre Dame. Big game. Penn State's tough, hard-nosed defense, but Notre Dame's got a pretty good offense, so watch out for that game. June 10th, 7:30, we got Texas versus Ohio State. Again, can't really say much about Ohio State because Ohio State's just Ohio State. They're just fucking dogs, man. They're good. Texas, though, they have came out to play pretty good. Um, like I was saying beforehand, they had some quarterback struggles there at the middle of the season. Patrick Ewers goes out. Arch Manning comes in. Arch Manning is not like his past relations like as Peyton Manning and Eli Manning and stuff. Because Peyton's more of a pocket passer, so is Eli, and his dad Cooper Manning. Cooper was a receiver back in his football days. Had a little bit of a neck injury, which caused him to have an early retirement. Arch is more of a Josh Allen type quarterback, hard nosed quarterback. If he needs to get to the touchdown pylon or the first down pylon, believe it or not, he's going to get there, and whether he's going to have to throw it or run his ass off to get there. So that'll be another game to be watching out for. I have Texas winning it all, but depending on who wins this Ohio State and Texas game, I'm going to go with that team winning it all this year. Zach, who do you think will win it all this year?
Yeah, I got Texas. I got a parlay on Texas winning. Don't know college football that well, but I make a parlay. I made a parlay for Texas winning, and I got Philly winning their conference and KC winning their conference. So I just kind of parlayed a little college football with a little NFL, and then I even threw some Oilers in there winning for the NHL, the hockey league. So
Ooh, hockey,
put in $1 for a couple $1,000 payout. Don't hurt nothing.
Like hockey to me is like watching golf. It's boring.
Well, you gotta watch the right ones. They start getting in fights. It's definitely impact.
Also, it is Patrick Ewers' last year as a Texas Longhorn. He will be going into the draft this year. I'm pretty positive. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he is going to the draft this year after this year's over. He's a very accurate quarterback. He's more of a mobile quarterback as well. He'll get out the pocket and run it whenever he needs to, but he likes to pass the ball. He's very accurate downfield. His deep passes are just insane, man. Like he's got some power in that arm. So be interesting to see where he goes. I say he'll probably end up going to the Raiders. The Raiders need a quarterback. So, but also does the Browns. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, so I want to hear your guys' predictions on the college, who you guys got and who you guys would love to see in the playoffs next year. As we know, Indiana Hoosiers, they balled out this year. That head coach over there turned that team around. So whatever he's doing, he needs to keep doing it. So keep trucking, Indiana.
Cool. Is that all you got for college football?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Awesome, guys. Well, it's another week for All Impact No Filter podcast, another football episode, wrapping up the week 18 and starting off the Wildcard Weekend. This is where stuff starts to get interesting, and I'm excited for these games coming up this weekend. But while you're at it, you've got to be dual watching because we got football game on Saturday night, but we'll also be live on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to be live with our first watch party. We'll be watching the UFC fight night this weekend. Hope everyone can come in and hang out with us and watch. Go for it, Steven.
Also, before I do it, I know this ain't a wrestling podcast, and we all know we all have mixed emotions about WWE, but WWE and UFC are kind of in the same contract, so we're going to talk about them. I will be at the Royal Rumble February 1st in Indianapolis. Very first time they're coming to Indianapolis. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. It's going to be an Impact show. There's already a few matches that are going to be pretty crazy. I've been to one before, but it was a few years ago, and it was wild. The environment is just intense.
Especially the Royal Rumble.
It's and this is the Royal Rumble. This is
you don't know who you're going to get.
Yeah, this is like a Pro Bowl compared to into college.
Will we see any UFC stars there? That happens too. You never know.
It could be. We could see some UFC stars there. I mean, it's a big event, so be watching out for. I am going to do my best to try and get some content for you guys, so that way we can put it in our videos. That way you guys can see how it went. But yes, most importantly, like and subscribe to our channel, please. It helps us out a lot. That and also click that bell notification. That way you get notified when we go live or post a video. And we really appreciate you guys. You guys have no idea. So keep doing it for us.
Thanks, guys. It's another weekend here on All Impact No Filter Podcast. That's it for me and Steven. Catch us again this weekend. Make sure you catch the games this weekend. That's it for us, guys. Later.
Later.
They got it locked, well I think I got it picked. 24/7, all I ever drop is hits. Never clocking out, I'm forever on my shift. I'm a ball till I fall, till they put me in my crib.
We gotta believe, we gotta be mentally strong. When we tired, that's when we gotta put our fundamentals together. That's when we gotta be more focused. When we tired, that should give you more effort. Be like, I'm gonna beat his ass. Everybody's great when they're not tired. The champions is when they tired, that's when the real champions come out. That's when that real dog come out. Cause if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch and let the big dogs eat.